Hello, everyone. Welcome along to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast. We are going ahead because Irish racing is going ahead, and that gives us something to talk about and perhaps a little bit of light relief in what is a very testing time across the globe at the moment. All the best to everyone out there. Thank you for joining us, and we can talk about horse racing, which is my lifeblood, Dees. It's what keeps you going as well. Thanks in many ways to HRI and Irish Racing that it is still going ahead and it gives us something to talk about. And we're Dundalk through and through, Dees. You've been studying that 8-race card for the last, day and a half or so?
Yeah, what fun. What fun. Dundalk is usually something now that we'd all have a look at about 3 o'clock on a Friday before we go to the pub for a few pints after work. So I don't think I've ever delved into it this deep, and I've enjoyed it immensely.
No pubbing now, Dees. No pubbing whatsoever.
This is unprecedented times. It used to be only God could close the pubs in Ireland. Now it is.
No, absolutely. We are well distanced away from each other. Although you are well branded. I'm gileted up. I've had my first shower in some time, which feels great.
I had a shower as well today, Tom. I said, today was the day. Yeah, why not?
Well done.
Yeah.
And a shave by the looks of things, Dees.
I did, yeah. I said, I actually hadn't shaved since this time last year. So I said I'd shave, and I shaved the other night. And I woke up the next morning and picked up my son out of the cot, and he hadn't a clue who I was. He was looking at me. He was
we are at this difficult time mainly thinking about Deesy's partner, who has to deal with 2 children now around the house. So.
She doesn't know which one of us is which because he looks exactly like me.
Exactly. Well, what's her name, Dees?
Neve.
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 Neve. Thinking of you at this very testing time.
She's tuned in, I'm sure, from home.
She will be. Right, so what we're going to do is we've got 8 races from Dundalk to get stuck into. And I'm not going to give you a bet in every race. The claimer I'm going to swerve personally, but we'll go through it all. There's some open handicaps there. It's not easy, but we've got lots of runners to get stuck into. Hopefully some prices for you as well. And we're also going to have a bit of light relief at the end, because why wouldn't we want a bit of that at the moment with a quiz at the end? And in our run through of our practice quiz yesterday, I absolutely hammered DC, and it's very so that's what happened, isn't it?
Yeah, no, like Tom, if you want to go with that claim, we'll release it to the world, and they'll see what happened.
No, actually, let's not do that.
We just say that, Tom, you only know really 3 sports, I suppose: horse racing, cricket, and football, and that's fine. But in my job, I have to know lots about every sport, so I had a significant advantage over you. But let's just say it was the greatest victory for the Irish over the English since Cheltenham last week.
Unbelievable. And if you look at my CV, I'll claim that I know everything about every sport. But the stark reality was confirmed in this practice quiz where I didn't have a clue.
There's not many people would know about the 90s San Francisco 49ers running backs and that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Not a clue. Right, let's get stuck into Dundalk. Just to say as well, if you're listening to us on the podcast, we're going to have a picture round at the end, and therefore it might be worth you just switching off there listening wise and then joining us on one of the watching mediums, either YouTube or Facebook or on Twitter, so you can join in with that quiz as far as the pictures go. But we've got a verbal quiz prior to that. The 1:30 at Dundalk is the first of our previews, which is over a mile. It's an apprentice handicap. It's not the strongest. I approached it, Dees, from the point of view of I kept coming down on Kinch as the most likely winner, and then out of stall 17, not that it's an out-and-out negative, but it's not ideal. I just thought there could be a little bit of value against him, and against Ty Connell out of 15 a second in the betting as well. So I was probably looking at slightly bigger prices, but you kick us off, Dees.
Yeah, the two I was kind of just looking for an angle. This is a tough enough race. I would be against them because they are drawn so far out. And I've come down on 2 very, very tentative bets for this. So the first one I am going to put up is Dance Alone. Now, Dance Alone is wearing blinkers. It's not his first time wearing blinkers, but it is his first time wearing blinkers for this trainer, for Damien English. Dance Alone wore blinkers many moons ago when he was trained by Kevin Ryan, and he had a few good results in them. They've tried every other kind of headgear on him, and it hasn't worked. Now he's down to career low mark. He is up in trip. A few kind of gentle enough runs recently. I think there could be a bit of value in him sneaking into a place. And the other one I'm going to go for is Sir Danilo, Fergus Moran's horse. No, he came back from an absolutely massive layoff there recently. Tried to make all, didn't quite get there, but even in the close, he picked up in the last furlong, but he still held his place and finished. I think he finished 5th. Now there is the bounce factor. He could easily bounce and finish nowhere in this, but if he strips a bit fitter, he has a match. I think he's a decent chance. He's going to be. I think his early price is up. He's going to be about 12.5. Dan Sloan is about 10.5. I'd be having a small win and a place betting both of them.
I'm approaching it in a similar sort of way, although I don't necessarily agree on Sir Danilo. He's definitely the most likely pace angle, I thought. 1 and 12, as far as numbers goes, I thought were the most likely pace, Sir Danilo, and one at a bigger price, Aisling Secret as well, who I think will go forward. Out of 14, and they're both drawn wide as it happens, I would agree on Dance Alone. It's a small bet at bigger prices for me. I think Dance Alone is interesting. I'm not absolutely certain that this is the right trip. I sort of have him down as a 7 furlong horse, but he has won it. I think his last win came over a mile. So
yeah, he's some good form figures over a mile. Like his last one was over 6, which I thought was too short. I think he might need a bit further. But sorry,
and the blinkers back on, no bad thing. Hopefully it'll help him at the business end of the race rather than at the start. I don't want him to light him up too much because I want him to have a chance of getting home. I thought the prices he was definitely worth the bet. And I will probably chuck a bit of money against after a 15 race maiden in the form of the mare Crest of a Wave. She is, I reckon you can get around about 17.0, and you might even get a little bit more given her profile. It's not the deepest race, and I thought she just had a sniff. She's been unlucky a few times. There was no pace to chase last time when she was half the price she is now, and she was not knocked around late on, quite rightly, when the chance had gone. She's fairly well treated if you base upon her last start over the mile here. I thought that gave her a chance. And I mean, look, she's never been in the winner's enclosure, so that's not ideal, I know. But she's run well off a higher mark before, off a mark of 49. And obviously the lowest she's got is 45 here. But I thought 7 furlongs as well when she could never get into it a couple of starts ago. I just found her out. So I will chuck a little bit of money after her for Charles O'Brien, but it won't be big. Probably of all the handicaps, Dees, the one I have a least strong opinion about. Is that fair?
Yeah, this is typically tough. I wouldn't be blowing the whole bank in this race, lads.
Absolutely not. No, we've got to get through 8 races. Dance Alone, one for team social distancing. Dance Alone on the as far as that's a well-named horse. That's not a thing we're going to adopt. That's not what we're basing our selections on. It's important to say that, I think. Are you happy, race number 1?
Yeah, let's move on.
You're a good man. 2 o'clock is the Love Your Mum at the Races weekend median auction race. Mother's Day coming up this weekend, this Sunday, which is a lovely day. And this is over a mile for this contest. And I wanted to give a chance to line judge around about 3.25. I thought was fair enough for her. I thought she shaped with a good bit of promise on her first start over 7 furlongs here. That was just 63 days ago. I thought actually Air Club for Henry de Bromhead should be clear favourite, and now vying for favouritism with Flower Garland, who we've seen a bit more of and has absolutely earned her mark of 79. But I thought Air Club, I mean, that form was really good with the second going out and winning a couple since. That was over course and distance. Wasn't a bad time either. So the form is rock solid. But I still thought Line Judge was just a little bit underestimated coming in here. She's a Dawn approach. She's definitely going to experience the extra distance. What else did I write about her? Love the step up and shit. She made ground from the rear, and she was green on that debut as well. So I thought she had a sniff as sort of third in the betting. Again, it wouldn't be one to go mad about given the nature of this race, but Line Judge was my on top selection. Dees, what about you?
Yeah, I went with Air Club here. I thought like it was impressive to win on debut in the manner he did, and like you said, it was Duke of Pilat was the horse that he beat, and he is now rated 92, which would put him ahead of everything in this race by a good bit. So if he can build on that, now he's off a nice break. We'll see a lot of Henry de Bram had trained 3-year-olds running and on the flat. I was gonna now he opened up clear favourite. He's after drifting out now.
Yeah.
Flower Garden is after being backed, which probably was expected. I think he was Dundalk O'Brien's first winner, wasn't he?
If you say so.
I'm fairly sure Flower Garden was Dundalk O'Brien's first winner. So hard to know if I honestly find with these O'Brien horses, it's hard to know whether it is just kind of backing him because of the name or backing because of his ability. It took Flower Garden 3 runs to win. Maybe he's improved a bit, but I think that if Air Club can run up to the same level as his first run, I think he's a cracking bet for this.
There you go. Q Flower Garland absolutely bolting up, making us both look stupid.
Exactly.
It's not big stakes as far as Air Club goes. It's not exactly given that it's an auction race. It's not one you go after in a big way.
No, I wouldn't go after any of these races in a big way, really, Tom. But I'm sure people will.
There's one later on where I'm going to get stuck into. There you go. We got to.
Yeah.
So we got this Friday as far as racing goes. 7 furlongs for the 230, which is the claimer. We're going to have a word on it, but we're not going to go absolutely mad about it. I mean, personally, Yufton's rated 92, and Joe Doyle should really get this horse home. Round about 1.5. Fine. I mean, has plenty in hand with Tony the Gent, also Dennis Hogan's horse, and it's difficult to make a case for anything else at the prices. I am absolutely... This is the race where I'm going to nip out. I made some energy balls today, Dees, with peanut butter and oats and cashew nuts and some seeds, and this will be the race where I nip out, cup of coffee, couple of energy balls, no bet.
Good for you, Tom. Yeah.
Recipe, they're very good.
I was saying them on to me actually. I thought energy balls are more of a kind of a morning thing. Would you be? Is there much caffeine in that now? Or?
I think a mid-afternoon snack is fine. It's better than we can't just sit there eating chocolate brownies all afternoon.
We need a bit of energy for the rest of the day, all right, yeah. Look, Yufton is £17 clear at the top on official ratings at the top of this. Like, I mean, there probably is a bit of value in them at 1.5, but yeah, I'd say just go make a few energy balls and have my list races on, and just come back for the 3:30 because I have no opinion on the 3 o'clock.
I've got a little. Have you done anything extracurricular in the last few days, Dees? Have you made any special foods or you mixed it up in any way?
We're using the slow cooker a good bit now. We're using the slow cooker. We got a slow cooker there a few weeks ago. We're experimenting with it every day. Great. I took out my strimmer to find that it doesn't work anymore, and I took out my lawnmower to find that it doesn't work anymore. So that's the weekend's job. But other than that, no, not really, Tom. Nothing too exciting.
I'm really sorry to hear your strimmer's not working anymore. I hope you get that fixed. That's desperate for you.
Yeah.
The grass is going to be out of hand at home.
You know what it is, Tom. Let's go on, mate. But look, we won't get into that.
The 3 o'clock then. You haven't got a play in this. You sitting this one out. This is the 1 mile 2.5 furlong maiden for 3-year-olds.
I am more than happy to sit this one out. Follow the money.
I'm going to have a little bit after Haparanda. She was chucked out on her first go at Galway. The world team, Conor Hoban rode her that day. The world team had the favourite there, Mazzara, who was beaten. Ashinor Road was beaten by Thundering Knights. But I wouldn't worry too much, given that filly at the top of that betting was odds on. I wouldn't worry too much that Mazzara, the price that Mazzara was led into the price that that this filly was at 25-1 on debut, Haparanda. She kept on. She ran fine. She's going to absolutely love the step up in trip. She's beautifully bred. I just thought Juliet Rose was the obvious one, and I didn't think she did a lot wrong. She was just a touch wider than ideal, perhaps, when she was beaten by China's Storm. She should be favourite. I just thought around about 6.0, and I wonder if you get a little bit bigger than that. Haparanda could be interesting. Dermot Well's got 2 in this, and he's got a good record in it as well. He's won 2 of the last 3 of this, so it's no surprise he's well represented. And I just thought Haparanda was worth a little bit at 6.0 or bigger. Again, not a crazy one, but and it's not. I'm not out and out to get Juliet Rose beat. I absolutely think she should head the betting. But I thought Haparanda was interesting. So there you go.
That is interesting. Thank you, Tom.
Happy with that, Dees?
I am. We'll follow in there.
Follow me.
Hello. As usual,
Go on.
You're breaking up a lot now, Tom.
Breaking up? Bad times.
No, you're back there. No, you're back. Drive on. What we saying?
The 3:30 is over that 1 mile, 2.5 furlongs again. Handicap. Kick us off, Dees. Who do you fancy?
So, this is what now I found. I was having a good dig through this because it's a very open race, and I found one that is quite interesting at a chunky enough price. Mere Ironmonger. Did you have a look at this horse?
I know the horse well.
Do you know him well? Did you own a leg of him when he was during his hurdling career in England?
Yeah, I knew the former owners of this horse, Mere Ironmonger.
I'd say he broke their hearts. I was actually going through his farm, and so he won a bumper at Kempton in 2016 for Brendan Powell, and he was good enough to be entered in the listed bumper at the November meeting at Cheltenham. But that began a string of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 non-runners not making any entries due to self-sorts and unsuitable and all that kind of stuff. He eventually dropped up 931 days later and finished 7 lengths behind Emmeton in a bumper at Ascot. So he was running a decent enough level over hurdles. He's running like Class 3 maiden hurdles and novice hurdles. Obviously never had any kind of form at all. Found his way to David Marnans in November and completely missed the break. He ran in a claimer and the 22nd of November, ran in the claimer, completely missed the break, lost about 8 lengths at the start of the race, made up huge ground in the straight and finished 8. No, he was, and then it was obviously claimed. He has had 3 runs for John McConnell here now. I would call them educational runs. He'd probably they'll probably just teach him how to be a flat horse now, as opposed to a hurdler. He's probably relearning his way. But at the last race, he ran against Bowerman and a few other ones. He was completely thrown in there. He is making his handicap debut here now off 55, which is a complete another guess, I'd say. And I think that this again, no, this race is not going to take a whole lot of winning. He is going to be about 20.0, 21.0. And I'll be having small each way bet. This is for his handicap debut, and I think John McConnell is a trainer worth following.
I gave him a good look, Dees, Mere Ironmonger, because I know I don't know the horse. We wouldn't know each other if we bumped into each other down a dark alley, but I know his profile quite well. I know he's had some soundness issues.
Yeah.
But I can absolutely argue. I can see the argument that of 55, he's a well-treated horse. It's just that patchy profile which puts me off a bit. But then we don't know where he is with his new yard, and equally, he's a fair old price as well.
Well, like he's put in. This is his 5th run now since November. He hasn't missed any engagement. He hasn't been pulled out of some. Maybe they've found the trick with him.
And tongue tie back on.
Tongue tie back on. I mean, he's an 8-year-old. It doesn't have a whole lot of miles in the clock.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting one because I didn't find many interesting ones in this race.
Well, the way I approached it is that Follow Me, Follow You, I thought was quite rightly and is quite rightly favourite. I think she should be based upon that performance last time.
Yeah.
My issue with her is that she's susceptible of even £3 higher now to just bump into something, and at the top of the betting, I didn't want to be with her, put it that way. And I just thought Mythmar was worth a little bit of support. I don't normally love getting stuck in on handicap debut with horses, but I quite liked his profile. There's a bit of pace with Early Strike, who I think is just inside Mythmar, and Mythmar showed good speed early. There's not a bundle of pace on here. I like the fact Mythmar will be able to lay up with them, and I think back up in trip is a big plus as well. This Sun of Sea the Stars, so triple suit. I think run of the race will suit. And I can argue he's well treated off 57. So around about 7.5 is where I was going with Mythmar.
And if you back him now, you will almost guarantee to get a trade out on him because the Hogans love betting on their horses.
I think
they do, boy.
Those are the views of Micheál Deasy.
That's just me. Yeah. Okay.
I actually think he'll definitely trade shorter in the run because I think he'll be up there. I think and as I say, I think it might be a hard one to get involved with from the rear, just given how it might play out this one. Mythmar on handicap debut for me, and a bigger price, Mere Ironmonger for Dease. Kick on for the 4 o'clock.
Absolutely.
We should really have like a running total, me against you, as to how we do with these Dundalk Fridays.
Well, we've only got this one and next week left, Tom, so we can do that if we want.
And you're going to nail me in the quiz, so I need something that I can win.
That's what I said. The first day questions of this are way more suited to you.
Fingers crossed. 4 o'clock at Dundalk is up next. That's where we're at, isn't it? Yeah. We're over 1.5 miles for this one. The Crown Plaza Dundalk Racing Stay Handicap. And I've got quite a clear opinion on this. I wanted to find a reason why Tonkin S would beat Cautious Approach, and I couldn't actually find it. And I thought Cautious Approach should be clear favourite. She's not quite as I look at it currently. I like Donor O'Connor back on board, who gave her an excellent ride. Nothing against Chris Hayes, but I like previous winning riders on the horse to be back up with them. And she was just a bit more off the pace when she won over this course and distance a couple of starts ago. Last time the race won by Sayesh, she was up there. She got caught late on by a couple that finished stronger than her. But I think a bit more pace in front of her and just being tucked away out of one, I think she'll get a nice trip. I thought she should be clear favourite. And I thought, she's not as underestimated as she was a couple of starts ago when she won. But I thought Tonkin S was the sexy one, but he's had a couple of goes for this yard and hasn't quite got his head in front. And he could find himself wide from 12, as was the case last time again. So I was with the top one as I look at it, 5.5 around about Cautious Approach, Dees.
Yeah, neither of them are going to win, Tom. Gill is going to win. Gill is my selection in this. I was looking back at his form in his second last race. No, his form was 2:20. So the second two, he finished second to John S.
Yeah.
And no, he was 3.5 lengths second, but he went for it from the front, which I do like in Dundalk. I know he was picked up by John S in the last furlong, but he still held on well for second. John S went on to win his next race. He went up another 9 pounds and was only beat the neck in his next race. So he was a very progressive horse. I think you can put a line through Gill's next run. He went back up to 2 miles. He's back down to 1.5 miles here. He's a nice chunky price. I think like being drawn out in stall 10 mightn't be ideal, but it's over 1.5 miles. It won't matter too much. That's the way I'd be playing, and I'd be going for a bigger price. I think Guild might be, once he's dropped down to 1.5 miles, I think he'll run better this time.
Do you think he'll be? Do you think he'll be ridden forward? Because you got pace with Park Row, might crack on with it. Malbass, another one. Do you think they'll try and dominate or not?
I think it'll be hard to get out in front from stall 10. So they might nurse him into the race. And I think maybe that if they had delivered him maybe a slightly less aggressive run, they could have. I don't know. Has actually beaten any John S. What am I saying? I think John S. would have had him anyway. But I suppose he doesn't have to lead this time, like you said, because there is a bit of pace there. But I would be happy not seeing him go up in front. I like front runners at Dundalk. I think that they generally go well there, and if you can get a good run into the home straight, get a good swing around that bend, and get out in front to kick, it's hard to get past them sometimes.
Guild then for Dees 13.0, round about that, or a bit bigger.
Yeah.
and I'm going for the cautious approach, which is the one that's right at the top, around about 5.5. As I am in the next, I really like this one. I'll be having a fair bit on Major Power in the 4:30, but I won't bore you by going first again. Go on, Dees. Are you in agreement, or are you looking elsewhere?
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, he's won his last 2 from wide draws, and he has stalled one today. Look, fine.
Done.
Yeah.
Job. That's it.
Yeah.
I really right. So okay. So potential negatives that I had to overcome in my mind for this horse at the top of the betting, around about 4.0. Dropping in trip to 6 furlongs. No negative for you?
No, I don't think so.
He's got he's got speed. He's got bundles of it.
Yeah, I like. I mean, there is. It's going to show him like there is nothing else in this race. I think that will ever even get near his rating of 79 for the rest of their career, and I think he can definitely the 4-timer. And as well as that, like his last 2 races, like he was drawn as wide as possible, which is a disadvantage over the sprint. The sprint trips here, 7 furlongs. Now he has stalled one, so I mean he can just get out, grab the rail, and they won't get near him.
I really liked the way he did it last time, and much of him races like a sprinter. I think 6 furlong will be fine.
Yeah,
He's actually a little bit. He's a bit bigger than I thought he'd be. I think his drop to 6 will suit him more than it will Poet's Pride, who's next in the betting. He races more like a 7 furlong horse to me, and he's got form behind Major Power, I know. But I thought this was the bet on the card, Dees.
Definitely, yeah. He was the standout bet. He looks like a class horse in this race compared to the rest of them, and you know, Post Pride has a small bit more of a pull in the weights than when they met the last time. But I can't see it being enough for him to get. I think it was when he was beaten by a length and a half, but it was an easy beat by a length and a half. I think Major Power should have just had far too much for him.
And there is pace on. Misty at Sea is one of them. Flare Path as well. Hee-haw. I think they'll all want to kick on, but that's no bad thing. Out of 1, shortest way round, track the pace, put it to bed 2 furlong out, easy game.
Yeah.
Done. And the 5 o'clock, less confident on here. I thought this was tough, but I didn't want to be with Le Quinto. Go on, Dees.
I have no bet in this race, Tom. I've gone up and down him. I couldn't find anything that made me say I would part with money to bet in this horse. So I am going to sit this one out, and you can make your.
He says that, right? He says that, but he'll be sat there at 4.58, having gone, shit, Major Power got done and nose, and Guild was nowhere, but I can get out of trouble here.
No, definitely not. No.
All right.
5 o'clock, I'll be sitting down to some nice slow-cooked beef brisket or something like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You'll be sat there playing with your strimmer, getting it fixed. And
I think it might just be the spark plugs, Tom.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I just have to get them out and dry them out.
It often is.
Yeah.
It often is. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
I purely because I wanted to be against Le Quinto, who, I mean, he ran a very eye-catching race at 40-1 last time. I'd just be wary of the way he made up his ground and whether it was a little bit more, whether it was a little flattering to him. I know the pace held up pretty well, but he was just the obvious one that I thought would be towards the top of the betting next time and maybe a bit overestimated. He still looked awkward under pressure for me, and that he wouldn't be one I'd want to steam into for all he's better drawn here. I thought Lady Moira could be interesting at 10.0. We know she's fairly treated based upon her nursery run last year over 5. She ran in that good-looking maiden 3 weeks ago, and she was out of her depth. But I thought if she settles better this time, she's got a chance. She was fresh and keen over 6. Maybe she's not a 6 furlong horse, but I'd give her one more chance here. She was just a bit bigger than I thought she'd be. Hopefully that'll have taken the freshness out of her. I thought 10.0 about Lady Moira was worth a nibble. Just a little go. Best bets time. Rattle through it with 2 people, don't we? Blimey.
Yeah.
Rattle through. What's your best bet for Friday at Dundalk, Dees?
My best bet, can I say Major Power?
You say what you want.
I will go for Major Power. Yeah. In the 7th race. What is the half is for?
You bastard. You horrible man. He knows I've already gone. I introduced the race by saying it was my best bet on the
Okay, all right.
Yeah. You're right.
Major Power and Yofton double.
Oh, look out. The two's on shot. No, I'll say Cautious Approach. I think she's underestimated. I think she should be clear fav. My best bet is Cautious Approach.
Good man, Tom. Good man.
In 4 o'clock. And Major Power for Dees. Well done. That was a fun way to spend a Thursday, I think, just getting stuck into Dundalk.
Not too bad.
If there's one person you'd like to join us now, Dees, who would that be?
Do you know who I haven't talked in ages is Aidan Sully O'Sullivan.
It's been a while. Here he is.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we?
We're good. The last time I saw you, Sol, was in our rehearsal yesterday when you were wearing a Nike hoodie. And
that was Under Armour, and it was slightly different. It was grayer than the black.
I see.
Slightly different.
I see.
You guys ready for a quiz? Have a bit of fun.
Quiz time.
Yeah,
We are ready.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So first of all, guys, if you are listening to us on the podcast right now, these are your questions, but we will get to the video round. So when we're done with these questions, tune out and head for our challenge. All right, guys, I want you to write down your answer for it rather than shouting at me. So I'm going to ask you the first question. I'm going to bring it up on screen right now. DC mentioned this horse earlier in the recording. Donncha O'Brien's first winner at Dundalk with Flower Garland. What price was he sent off at? I'm going to give you about 15 seconds there.
Decimal or fraction, Sol?
Fractions. Because the SP is fraction. DC, don't shut. Hold off. Tom is having a bit of a think about this one.
I'm ready.
DC is very confident. Up in the air, guys. Let us have a look. First of all, 5-4 for Micheál Deasy.
Sorry. I've written a decimal. Right, hang on. I've changed.
It's okay. I'll be able to decipher what it is. What have we got? Up.
4-7.
Bang on, 4-7. Tom wins. 1-0 to Mr. Stanley. And obviously, guys, if you don't get the exact right answer, it's closest to it gets it. Okay, let's move on. Question number 2. DC, you're in the hole already.
Oh my God.
How many winners all time has Willie Mullins had at Cheltenham? All time, including this year. Here we go. Any answers for me yet, guys? DC first. You want to pop up these?
No, you go for it, Tom.
Tom, you go for it. 72. Oh, on the button, Mr. Tom Stanley. 72. Correct.
Away!
I want more basketball questions, so I was good at them.
Tough. That's what a rehearsal is.
I love the fact that we're an exchange as well, and people will have noticed from my first answer that my fraction doesn't correspond with my decimal.
We shouldn't have said anything about that. We all copped it, but none of us said it, all right?
Question number 3, DC, you're in a 2-0 hole. What year was the Cheltenham Gold Cup first run as a jumps race? It feels 6 days ago the Gold Cup was on, guys. It feels a lot longer, doesn't it, in this current climate? So what year was the Cheltenham Gold Cup first run as a jumps race? If you haven't got the exact year, we will give the point to the closest to. Tom, you look a lot more confident about, or less confident. Tom, show me what you got. What have you got, Tom Stanley, up in the air? 1926, 1899. The correct answer is 1924. Tom Stanley. 3-1. DC, I'll tell you what, right? I'll give you 3 points if you can name the winner of the race. Who was the first Gold Cup winner as a jumps race? I don't take forever in this. You don't know, you don't.
Golden Miller.
No.
Spectrum. You didn't know it either, Tom. So come on. Question number 4.
Golden Miller won it in 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Right, done.
Let's move on. Yeah, you're a clever clogs. What weight did Tiger Roll carry in the 2018 Grand National?
Oof.
Oh,
2018, no, not last year, guys.
I can tell you what number he was.
No good. I want the weight. DC, you want to go? You need this. You need this. 11-2, Tom. 11-7, DC. It is 10-9. So you got it, mate. 3-1 to Tom. Right. Last question. Bit of a geography question, DC. You're going to have to get this one. And I think you have more chance than Tom of getting this one. Geography question. Dundalk related, of course, tomorrow. How many kilometres separate Dundalk Racecourse with Leopardstown Racecourse?
I mean,
I'll give you a clue, Tom. Leopardstone's in Dublin, so you have some hope there. You wouldn't believe it, DC, but Tom's screen is after freezing for the second time today.
I'm
there
back.
You go. You're back. Yeah, I presume you weren't Googling the answer there in the meantime, Tom, so I'm going to trust you. In kilometres, how many kilometres separate Dundalk Racecourse in County Loud with Leopardstown Racecourse in South County Dublin? Tom, you want to go first, mate?
I mean, I literally haven't got a clue.
Go for it. 64, DC?
I have changed mine to 74.
DC just about gets it, 115, so 3-2, and it's all to play for. Right, guys, you want to see some race courses? You really do want to see some race courses, right? Name that race course. So, if you're listening to us in the podcast right now, turn off, head to YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook channels for this. Name the race course. So, guys, we have one aerial shot, but the rest of the race courses, pictures are all around the race courses. So we'll see how you go from here. Okay, first up. And I want you to write them down again, guys, if you've got paper left. And I don't want to do all day. So let's have a look at this. This racing isn't on in this race course at this time, because you can obviously see there's some sort of massive worldwide picnic. You can see the race course up towards the top, the actual concourse there and the stand. It's obviously a jumps course we can see as well with the fences around the perimeter there. I'm going to give you guys another 10 seconds. I don't want to go all day with this. Remember, Tom, you've got the advantage here. You've got a 3-2 lead, so if none of you get any of these right, you still win.
I'm not going to get that.
Okay, are we going to have a guess, guys, or are we going to just drive on?
Well, it's left-handed. Do we have to write it down, or do we get to...
No, go on, Tom. Give me your guess first. Whoever wants to go first. Nobody's jumping there.
I'll write it down.
Okay.
Warwick. No.
Tom,
No.
you want to have a go?
I don't know what it is, and I know it's not what I think it is, but it should be obvious because look at all the cars in the middle. I don't know.
They're not there every day. It's you Toxeter.
Oh.
All right, let's move on. Number 2. Recognize that stand? No,
I do.
No, DC does straight away. This is the chance for DC to level it up. What have you got, these?
How do I know?
Do I have to write? All right, I'm going to write it down. Hang on. Well, I haven't got a clue what that is. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, let's have a look, guys. Let's see what you have.
Oh.
What have you got, Tom? Oh, no. DC is correct. 3-3 heading into the last 3.
There's a great video on YouTube of a piss student falling down that little hill there. At Limerick Racecourse a few years ago, I'd highly recommend.
That's probably the only. Yeah, that's the only reason you're. Okay, so Tom, you should get this one. Tom Stanley, if you don't get this one, mate, you've been here plenty of times. DC has.
No, I've got it. There's 2 reasons I've got it.
Oh, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing. I didn't do my homework there, Tom.
You know what? It's either one or two now, so I have to have a good guess off this. Bring it up there a second. Ian. Bring it up there a second.
Bring it up. Come on, answers. Come on, quickly.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes, ready.
Yes.
Perfect. That's a tie. Point each, four each. We're going into the last two, guys. Where are we? Name that race course.
I mean,
it's happened again, Tom, hasn't it?
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Will we put them up there, Tom?
Yeah, put them up. Oh, I tell you guys, you're gonna have to sack this producer. This is really poor, really poor. Right, last one.
Oh, sheesh.
Oh,
tough one, guys. Tough one. Very tough one. You're just looking at the main stand here in the blue. The red bricks. It's obviously a jumps course as well.
I think it's the place with one of the oldest toilets in the history of racing. Honestly, the toilets. I think it's there. I might be wrong, mind. I think it. Right, I'm happy.
Go for it.
It's some guess now, but anyway, come on, let's go for it. Ready, Tom?
No, neither. Leicester.
Ah, sugar.
Your glue gave it away, son.
Blue.
But obviously not.
So obviously didn't give it away.
Sully, it's much easier, Sully, if you can have the name of the racecourse in the photo somewhere.
Yes. Our producer did a very poor job there. Right, guys, tiebreaker question. I'm going to have to give you a distance one again. Sorry to do this. In miles, how many miles between Ascot Racecourse and Sandown Racecourse? Closest to it gets.
Oh, that's good.
In miles. Sandown and Ascot.
That's a low.
Come on, guys. I haven't got all day, guys. We gotta,
how am I supposed to know that?
we gotta wrap it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Show us, Lizzie. What have you got? 19 for Tom, 64 for DC. The answer is Tom is actually closest. It's 25. Only 6 away, Tom. Well done.
Woo!
Right, Tom, you can wrap. It's your show.
Fantastic. Just like the quiz that we did yesterday, I've won again.
And anyone who backed me at 1.5, you shouldn't be backing sharp price favourite. That's
correct. Only at Dundalk.
Yeah.
Except when it's Yofton and he is £20.
The truth is, he hammered me yesterday, Dees, but I'm pleased that happened today. Very good. So
that doesn't matter. That was yesterday.
We're going to do the same next week. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So we're going to be Dundalking. We could always cast an eye ahead to the other Irish action that weekend, and we'll have a little quiz for a bit of fun as well, a bit of light relief. Producer Sully, thank you for all that hard work going into finding all those things. Appreciated. DC, well done, pal. Good luck with the bets.
Thanks, Tom. You too.
Looking fresh. Good luck with the strimmer, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye all. Stay safe.